Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
All right, my people, welcome to another edition of DBDS Live. I am your host, Mel Money, and today we have a special show for you. Now, listen, next to me, this is not Carl that went through a huge transformation. This is my sister, my DBDS moderator, author, Cameryn. She'll be filling in to drop some nuggets, and I appreciate her for doing so, but I'm pretty excited for today's show. And how you feeling today, my sister?
I feel amazing, Mel. We got a great show lined up. Got some awesome co-hosts with us today. Whew, I'm ready for this one.
Absolutely. Love, and great to hear that. And for those who are joining in, tell them a little bit more about yourself and how they could reach you as well.
Well, as you said, I am a DBDS moderator. I love talking about all things relationship, especially where it comes to, people presenting themselves or, getting healthy prior to showing up to the relationship table. But I, when I'm not focusing on that, I am an advocate for students with mental health issues here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm all about that healthy mental perspective.
I love that healthy mental perspective. Very well said. And one thing that I just want to mention, besides Cameryn's amazing work that she puts out there, her work is also available on dearbrothersdearsisters.com, which you can check it out. That's the official site dedicated to healthy and monogamous relationships. So right now, she actually has a blog up there titled Breadcrumbing, which is, such an amazing read because it touches on, I'll say, individuals' intent to keep you hooked without any serious commitment. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, what you wrote. So besides that, listen, if you want to rock and represent DBDS and represent us in a positive fashion, because we all about love and support of each other. You see these t-shirts we got here? Make sure you get your tea. You can definitely go to the site. As you can see, my brother with the tight Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters shirt. And then we got my book on display right there from yours truly, Dear Brothers, Dear Sisters, Listen Up, which is available right now on Amazon.com, as well as our website. So make sure you check it out. So besides Cameryn's amazing blog, which touch on those who put in the bare minimum, you should avoid those people at all costs. But you should also avoid people who are not flexible, which brings me with today's show that is titled, How Being Submissive Can Benefit Your Relationship. What you think about this topic, Cameryn?
This is going to be a hot one today because that word submissive it's a trigger for a lot of people, especially women. So I'm very excited to see how, the people take this conversation today, because I think they're going to be surprised about what we discussed today.
Absolutely. Hey, one thing I love about the DBDS family, and shout out to everyone coming and joining our conversation: Tamika, Trey Williams, Brittany, Lisa, Liv, Marcia, my wife, April. Everyone is joining into this conversation. So you're absolutely right. It is a trigger. And I think that this word mostly triggers our community because we're so used to being raised to be independent, which I think is perfectly fine as a human being. But the missing ingredient that we're missing is the human connection with someone else and learning how to be interdependent, meaning that, you're independent but dependent at the same time with someone who is worthy, so you can build a legacy with. And I think other communities are not easily triggered by this word as a collective. So listen, we're going to dive in deep today, Cameryn. I mean, we're going to really take it off.
I know. We'll see if we get through all the subtopics today.
Absolutely. So listen, it's about that time to bring our guests into the studio. And listen, the first one coming into the DBDS Live studio, I had the pleasure to be on her show, which is called Uncommon Women. Even though it was dedicated to the sisters, but they invited me on to bring a male's perspective, and I appreciate her for that. I want to welcome back my sister Jenni to DBDS Live.
Hey everyone.
Hey, Jenni.
How's everyone doing this evening?
We're doing great, my sister.
Hey.
I'm glad to be back. I'm great. I'm glad. Thank you for having me back on.
Yes, we greatly appreciate you. So tell the people we have some new viewers. Go ahead. We must have it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I always cut you off there.
Oh, it's all good, my sister. So we have some new people joining the studio. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
Okay. I am Jenni Lee. I am a podcast co-host called Uncommon Women Podcast. We speak on self-love. We give women and men a platform to speak on their testimonies. And we also we also have a self-love apparel. You also can come check that out at www.uncommonwomen.net. I am single and I'm a mother of 2 young adults. And Tramel has been on our podcast before, and he is a great guy. I love what you're doing with your show and everything. And I'm honored to have come on. And I'm also from Pennsylvania.
Okay. Well, great to have you back on. And please, my people, make sure you subscribe to their channel, Uncommon Woman. Lots of great episodes and amazing guests, very full of knowledge. So I appreciate you coming back onto the show.
Awesome. Well, I'm honored. Right. I'm honored.
And next, coming into the DBDS Live studio, this sister has the credentials and the experience to provide you with some great information on how to become a better version of yourself. I truly appreciate her, and I truly appreciate the gems she gives to the DBDS family. So I want to welcome back my sister Latoya Watson to DBDS Live.
Hello. Thank you for having
me.
Hi.
Hello, my sister. So we have some new people coming in. Wow, a whole bunch of people. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and why you're on the show today.
I am from Connecticut, and I'm a licensed therapist, speaker, and coach. And specifically, I love helping single women break unhealthy dating cycles so they can experience healthy love. And also, as Cameryn mentioned, big mental health advocate. And I'll definitely be sharing tonight from that perspective related to being submissive.
Okay. I love it.
Thank you for having me also.
Oh, you're very much welcome, my sister. We greatly appreciate you coming back on board. Appreciate it. So listen, I feel like this is a great topic because I feel like the word submit, has a lot of, I would say, unbalanced terms, because the perception some sisters believe is that a man is in control, or the perception some brothers have is that I'm the man and you should just follow my orders. And I'm here to say that both are false narratives, or, pretty much the intent behind those words are simply not true. In fact, I would say if you were to break down the word submissive and take it apart, the word sub, that means under. And the word mission means that one has to fulfill a purpose. Now, when you put those words back together, the reality is you are setting yourself under a mission of being a good partner, of course, with someone that's worthy, right? And let me emphasize, a good partner is one who is willing to trust your judgment or decisions, one who has your best interests at heart, not some undeserving, unloyal brother or sister who takes advantage of you, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first topic that I want to touch on related to this theme is it shows that you actually trust your partner when you are submissive. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cue this up right quick. So my thing is that a submissive brother or sister allows themselves to trust wholeheartedly, right? Which means that they can rely on their significant other and they don't need any justifications because they know that their partner will understand and trust their actions and decisions. And that is a form of being submissive when your partner has earned your trust. So first, I'm coming to my sister, Jenni. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
Ooh, I think being submissive is being vulnerable to each other, allowing each other to lead each other in a healthy way, to be understanding, to have that trust with each other, you know. And like you said, a lot of people think that submission is being controlled. It's not what it really is. And I think being submissive, I think it's also a great thing because you're allowing your partner to just like embrace your vulnerability, to care for you in the healthy, genuine way, because when somebody's leading you, they're supporting you, they're uplifting you, but in a healthy way, not in that controlling way, because in the controlling way, it's very unhealthy. You can already tell if someone's being controlling towards you and how their character is and how they talk to you and how they treat you. And some people think, obviously, a lot of women, like you said, Tramel, that a lot of women don't want to submit because they think they're being controlled. But that's not the case.
Okay. Very well said. Okay. First bomb dropped during the show. Appreciate your insight on that, Jenni. Yeah, very well said. I mean, some truly don't look at it from that angle. I believe the mission is to be a good partner. So, for example, I trust my wife's judgment and decision making when it comes to certain things and vice versa. And in fact, I feel like a lack of trust is one of the reasons why many relationships fall apart. So if you constantly have to go through someone's phone or you're trying to monitor their activities that's not showing that you're truly submissive to your partner, because trust is freedom. And I feel like you must love in a way that your partner feels free. Right. So I'm coming to my sister, Latoya. What is it that you want to add to this conversation?
I love what Jenni talked about being vulnerable. I really think that is key for healthy relationships. And I really just want to jump in and say, if you do not trust your partner, you need to reevaluate why you're with that person. It just, you really do.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes things happens that impacts the relationship and impacts the trust. But if you are not working on repairing that, then you need to, things need to be done differently. And I also want to add, when it comes to trusting, I'll say, so I'm single. So I'll say, when it comes to trusting my future partner with making decisions, I will willingly do that. And let me let me clarify that. And I say that because one, I'm ready to hand it over. I'm gonna be so real and so transparent.
I love that about you. Go ahead.
Decision fatigue is real. Decision fatigue is a real thing. And I really think, which also impacts our mental health, and especially single women, especially women who are very driven and ambitious, like all of us on the show. Nobody, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to constantly be making all these decisions on my own. I hate it.
No. No, I don't. No, I don't. I can agree on that.
Thank you. It can really drain. Some days I'm like, I made enough decisions today. I've done enough adulting. I'm not. I don't even think I'm in a right space mentally. Like, I don't want to make a bad decision because I'm too emotional or not being rational. But yeah, but let me go back and say, when I decide to be in a relationship with a person, I'm going to trust them. And even I'll take it a step further. When I decide to get married, I'm not going to marry somebody that I don't fully trust. And I'm not
Right.
going to marry someone that doesn't have
Mm.
wisdom or who hasn't shown a certain level of being intentional about making decisions. And so there's all these other things. And again, I know sometimes in relationships, things happen that breaks the trust. And again, we have to be quick to be working on repairing that. So that's what I want to add. As you can see, I don't have a problem with with the word submission, because for me, again, it really is about I'm okay with allowing my partner, my future husband, I will say, because with me, with submission, I'm not going to just submit to a boyfriend, which is a different conversation. But
Wow.
yeah, I don't think that I will struggle with allowing him to make decisions, because he's going to have already shown me that he can be wise in his decision making.
Whew, okay.
Yeah.
Whew, all right. I mean, fire. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And everything that you stated, Latoya, the first thing I tell people, men or women, character should always come first before anything.
Yeah.
You know, a man that's full of wisdom and one that has your best interests, he will not purposely lead you into the ditch.
Right.
Or a woman that is loyal and respectful, she will not take advantage of you. So I love what you stated, and thank you so much for sharing. I'm coming to my sister Cameryn. How important it is to actually trust your partner.
Well, I'm going to summarize, I'm going to co-sign and green light what everyone has said, and I think, Mel, the way you set the tone for the word submission, I think tonight you've done a great job of taking the trigger away from it, and, putting a different spin on it, that submission is actually a powerful thing. It's a beautiful thing when it's done right by two healthy, and like Latoya said, people with intentionality. They have consistency, and like what Jenni said, like they're trusting. They have no problem with vulnerability, whether that is showing it or allowing space for the other partner to be vulnerable. Because, at the end of the day, like you said, Mel, trust equals freedom. Well, guess what? Vulnerability equals courage. Like these aren't low-hanging fruit words here, or characteristics we're talking about. This is fruitful things, like, stuff to create a solid foundation upon. So, I don't know what more there is to say about it, but submission is a great thing with the right people.
Right.
And like Latoya said, like I totally agree with her. Like being a single mother, a full-time single working mother, I'm head of my household.
Gotcha.
And so my partner has to be in a position to take the lead, because like she said, I want somebody to make a decision for once. Like it's a lot, and when I'm with a man who I can trust, who has great character, who I've seen him be consistent in his choices, and I see he has wisdom, I can sit back. I can submit.
You're
I can
relaxed.
say, you know what? I am so relaxed, and I love being relaxed. Like, you know what? I trust your palate. I don't care where we eat. I promise you, I can figure out something. I can make a meal off that menu. But please, make it. I trust you.
Okay. Love how you stated that. And to the brothers out there that just have this dictatorship mindset, or ones that don't have a purpose in life, listen, a sister cannot submit to a man who does not make any decisions, and execution, or not having, I would say, you're not following through with your word, These are traits that a woman, from what sisters tell me, that's what they look for. So if you say something, you don't back up your word, you don't make that execution. If you leading them 90% into the ditch, listen, that's not leading at all. Okay. So that's just from a man's perspective. So very well said. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an anonymous comment that came in my inbox. So this is the first one that we're going to go ahead and share today. And I'll have you read it right quick, Cameryn.
I went on this amazing date Saturday night. However, when I opened her door, she said, "Don't do that again."
Oh,
When I offered to pay, she sucked her teeth and said, "I can pay for my own date." Are these red flags?
oh, brother. Okay, brother. I mean, I'm glad you brought the letter. Thank you for your anonymous comment. So first, I'll come to Jenni. If you had a son, or any advice you'd be given to someone you care about, do you think that's red flags? How this sister's treating his brother?
Yes, it is. I totally agree as red flags, because I mean, he's saying he went on this amazing date. He's trying to show her a good time. He's trying to show her that he's interested, and then she sucks her teeth and is like, "Don't open the door," or "Don't pay for my," take that as a blessing. Take that, he's really interested. He's trying to get to know you. I get it that you are independent, but then she's probably the type of woman where, somebody's nice to her, trying to show her a good time and is interested, but then she'll quickly friend zone him. And then she's bashing men because she can't find the right guy, or, all the men are the same. But then she finds this guy that wants to pay her dinner, is trying to open a door for her, and you're sucking your teeth. Well, she needs to reevaluate herself and what she really wants to do. Obviously, the guy sounds like he's a really nice guy, because, he's interested. He's trying to treat her well.
So just to play devil's advocate, and I'll come to Latoya next. You don't think this is, for some women, they just feel like when you're doing this, they don't feel independent, and maybe she thinks he's trying to have control. I mean, I don't think so, but what are your thoughts on that?
I don't think she feels, I think it's just more, she's too independent. Where, I think just more where she's too independent. Well, I can do this. But sometimes you have to allow somebody, sometimes you have to allow him to be the man, allow him to be the man and treat you as the woman you deserve to be treated. I get it. Some women can be stubborn, and he's over here trying to offer, try by treating her well, and she sucks her teeth right there. That's a red flag. I would be like, I won't talk to you ever again, straight up, if I was a man.
Okay.
Like,
okay, very well said. I appreciate that. The brother, he's watching the show, obviously. Latoya, any suggestions for this brother right here?
Yeah, I agree with everything Jenni said. And it's just, I want to say run. I would tell my son that. Run. I don't think there's any reason it's unnecessary to be sucking your teeth unless he's leaving some information out. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is all he provided. I don't see why she would be sucking her teeth. I think it's extreme. And I do think it is a red flag.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Cameryn, any advice you have for this brother?
Well, first, I want to commend him for even submitting a question to the show. That's a courageous move on his part. Secondly, honestly, I see those as king-worthy behaviors. Taking a woman out, paying for her meal, opening doors. Honestly, I expect my doors to be open for me. Why? Because that's what I saw men in my family doing for the women in my family, and the men teaching the young boys growing up. This is what you do. And me having a son, that's what his father and I teach him to do. Open the door for a lady, But, like a wise older person once told me, if you have to ask the question, you already know the answer. So
Gotcha.
my advice to him is to continue to do what he feels in his heart, in his soul, feels good and honorable to him. And if he ever gets a feeling in his gut that doesn't feel right, guess what? It ain't.
Mm,
And follow it.
Yeah.
okay,
You
man.
know, that's it.
Very well said. Okay. Was dropping some bombs right here. Okay, we have a couple of comments that came through just about now. We'll go to the
Okay.
first one.
That's just play wrong.
Guess it's
Does
plain.
chivalry, oh, just plain wrong. Does chivalry still exist?
All right.
It does.
Next one.
It makes it hard for good men such as myself to find a good woman. This is a really great discussion.
Okay.
Awesome.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. All right. We appreciate that. So we're going to go to the next anonymous comment, and then afterwards we'll take a quick commercial break.
I feel some women who refuse to submit accept brothers who have no backbone, and they like to feel superior or in control of their man. When they come across a good man, they have no choice but to submit.
Okay. Appreciate the comment. Jenni, anything you want to share insight on this brother's comment?
I want to go for where just because he is a good man, not all women will submit.
Gotcha.
For the simple fact that, you know, like I had spoke earlier, women nowadays are very independent. So if the man wants to lead, depending on the situation, sometimes a good woman will allow herself to be led and submit to her man. But necessarily that's not always true. I think there's always a between the balance with that. So it's depending on the relationship as well. No.
Yes, very well said.
And,
I find. Oh, go ahead, Jenni. You want to add something else?
No, go ahead. Never mind. Just go ahead.
Okay. No, I mean very well said. You see, I feel like when you've been in relationships in the past that were controlling, or someone who's trying to persuade you to do things, keep in mind those are not relationships, my people. Those are really dictatorships. Because I feel like the intent behind someone that is doing these things is to make you feel inferior. So I always tell people, before you dive right into a committed relationship, you must have those emotional glasses off and put on those logical glasses, and that way you'll be able to see all those red flags. All right. So I'm coming to my sister Latoya. Is there anything you want to add to this brother's comment?
I just I think I just want to emphasize the point that Jenni made. Some women, no matter how good of a man you may be, some women just may never submit to you. And what I hear from ladies sometimes, whether it's they had a bad experience, or Tramel, like you were saying, it's more of a dictatorship, or there's a fear of being controlled. I think there's a lot of different reasons why women struggle with submitting, even if it is to a good man. And, you know, it's just, I kind of want to say, I think it is, I think it's worth women, if there is some fear or hesitation coming up for you, I think it is a sign you need to do some deeper work.
Right.
Because I think, again, if the man, as we were all talking about, if the man has good character, can use wisdom to make decision making, ladies, your life will become easier when you submit and allow this man to make or help with decision making, or whatever the case is. And you can just be, you know, I wrote a post about the whole feminine masculine thing. I don't always use that terminology, but I want to use it in this case. Like, you can really just sit in your feminine energy. I don't think we're meant to be, well, we all know we're not designed to be alone. And so I think sometimes that's why I'll just speak for myself, why sometimes I feel overwhelmed with having to make all of these decisions on my own. So really, I want to challenge the ladies who struggle with submitting to do some deeper work, speak to somebody about it, because I think it will make your life easier when you are in a healthy relationship.
Yeah, very well said. I like what you stated. Before I come to you, Cameryn, let me just pull up this next comment right here.
The right man will make any independent woman submit.
I don't know.
I'll challenge you on that thought, my sister, whoever dropped that comment, but that's not always necessarily the case. I mean, there are some good men out there, and simply there are some that'll refuse to allow that to occur. So I'm coming to you, Cameryn. Any thoughts you want to add to this brother's comment right here?
Definitely, I agree about, the women who get with men who have no backbone. I have witnessed the control dynamic, coming from the woman's point of view. At the end of the day, no one's forcing us to be in relationships with people that we don't feel comfortable in. So I think a lot of people have to reassess, like, why am I in this relationship? I'm responsible for my needs, like getting my needs met, on a basic level. But what are we doing together? What are we creating? And I don't think that's like a real question that a lot of people are asking these days,
question.
or at least that's not what I'm seeing on social media a lot of the time. So, but I know there are great, amazing relationships taking place, men and women doing their thing, meeting each other in the middle and, standing in their strengths and allowing the other to take over and fill in the gaps where they can't. Those relationships are happening. Mel, you and April, y'all got that on lock. So, but this comment here, the right man will make any independent woman submit.
Oh, I'll pull it back up. Yes.
I'll go back to Latoya's point.
Okay.
Because, she spoke about coming to the relationship table intentionally. This is what I need in a partner. And so this comment here, the right man will make any independent woman, if that woman is independent, but also knows what she's looking for and needing in a partner, then yes. And if that man, has been consistent and showed that he has wisdom, he's a man of his word, what he says is platinum, not gold, but platinum, and he's not leading her in a ditch, then yes, absolutely. That comment absolutely will work. But at the end of the day, we got to show up wanting this stuff. It's not just going to magically drop in our lap.
Very well said. Yeah, very well said. And we're emphasizing here in this panel, submissive comes from both directions, right? It's a collaboration, in a relationship. So, wow, the comments are coming in now. We have another one from another anonymous comment. Go ahead, Cam.
I appreciate this discussion. So little is properly taught about this. The Bible says, wives, submit to your own husbands. Therefore, discerning who is a man to submit to requires a great deal of vetting and a selection process.
Yes.
I don't know who that is, but
yes.
Anything you want to add to that, Cameryn? And I'll come to Latoya with this.
Yeah, I mean, vetting. Ooh, I love that word. That's such a great word. But it's like, and even I've, in my history of dating, just because I have a lot of interest in a man, I needed to pay attention to his level of investment
Mm.
in the
Whoa.
relationship.
Okay.
So, I had to like kind of check myself. Oh, okay, just because you really like him and you're really interested in him, is he worthy to be in a relationship with you? Is he investing enough? That's why I was able to write that post recently about breadcrumbing.
Yes, love it. Go to dearbrothersdearsisters.com and check that out. Very well said. Yes. I mean, this is a great comment, Jenni. Anything you want to add to this comment right here?
I think a lot of people were it specifically says wives submit to your husbands. And I think when women see that, it's like we must. So the must submit is like the word that obviously scares a woman to want to submit. So when somebody's always like throwing the Bible out, or they'll think that it's like a controlling thing, like we have spoken about. And I think, like you said, Cameryn, it's about investing and investing in the person and seeing that actions speak louder than words.
Gotcha.
So when you see the action in there, and then I would be the one to be like, okay, he's investing, he's showing action, then you speak. And then as you get to know each other, or when you're like, when you're dating, you'll be like, okay, I would submit myself because he's doing the right things. He's showing you the right things and he's treating you well. I would definitely submit to someone that's treating me right, is investing in me, and I will definitely submit. It takes to show the person, actually speak loud on the words. A person can say this and say that, but if they're not showing action and not investing in you, how am I supposed to submit to you if you're not showing me, but just saying?
Very well said. Okay, I appreciate that. And to my sisters and brothers out there, listen, my sisters, there's nothing wrong with, it's very powerful when you submit to the right man, because there's nothing wrong with submitting to a man who honors you, who protects you, who leads you, who worship the ground you walk on. There's nothing wrong with that. And to my brothers out there, I'll challenge you. There's nothing wrong with submitting to a woman who's loyal, who's respectful, who's your biggest cheerleader. I mean, the right woman, and this is out of Carl's playbook, but the right woman will multiply your investment. Listen, I'm living proof.
Yes.
I went from a little studio apartment to a house with solar panels on the top that I just got installed last week. I'm proof. And I was with the right woman because her inspiration, she inspired my actions. Right. Oh, baby, don't worry, you can do it. And that just make me want to do things more because she appreciates me.
Yeah.
Right.
And Mel, can you I guess verify the fact that submission is not static, but it's fluid.
Yes.
And it goes back and forth, just depending on what's needed for the relationship.
Yes.
For the household. For each other.
Yeah.
It's fluid, people.
It is fluid.
It's not just on one end of the spectrum.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Very well said, my sister. Man. Come to Latoya and we'll pull up one more comment. I promise you we'll go to a commercial break. Anything you want to add?
I just want to add the key part to this, and LaDonna posted this. This is one of my.
She needs to come on the show. Fire what she put.
And Reverend, requiring a great deal of vetting in a selection process. That's where we often that's where things get a little murky, I will say. And I've been there. So I'm speaking from experience, and no shame to anybody. It does. Getting to know someone, dating is very tricky. It really is. And it does take a great deal of vetting. It is not something that I think many times, and I'll speak about my personal experience in the past. I was very quick to get into relationships before really building a solid friendship and foundation. And so that is so important. So I just want to share that with men and women. It is very important to take your time and build a strong foundation, especially a friendship, so you can determine. You can't just be submitting to anybody. It'll lead to a disaster.
Nope.
Yeah. Very well said. Panel's blessing the audience today. Yeah, very well said, Latoya. And my thing is that when you submit, you have to ask yourself, and during this vetting process, and I know it's a long process, my people, I understand out there, but the thing is, once you find that right person, it's worth it. It's so worth it, because you want, it's like running a corporation. You wouldn't want to just hire anyone. You want to hire someone that has a good track record, who is, someone that has your best interests at heart, and so forth. And I think having the right man or woman in your life, that's like one of the most important decisions you make in your life, because you have to know if that person is really going to be there with you, not someone that's going to do the complete opposite. So thank you, Reverend LaDonna, for this comment. That was fire. Come on the show, please. One more comment, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. Go ahead.
Why should we submit to a man who constantly cheats and end up getting one of your best friends pregnant?
All right. I'll come for the sisters to give you advice, my sister. Thank you for your comment. First, I'll come to you, Jenni. Any advice you have for this sister?
Any advice? The only thing I can tell you is, sis, leave the relationship. Leave the relationship, because the other woman's pregnant. The relationship is already done at that point. There's no need for you to submit.
Wow. Very well said, Jenni. Man, Latoya, do you have any advice for this sister?
Yeah, going along with what Jenni said, I'm also curious, is this a husband?
Right.
Or
good question.
Boyfriend, but still serial cheating, and they're not willing to change. Yeah, and I'm sorry that happened to you. Getting one of your best friends pregnant. I can't imagine. Oof. I can't imagine. I've never been in that situation. I pray to God I never will.
Wow.
Yeah, very well said.
Oh, go boyfriend. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the show, wherever this but okay.
I just was gonna say, I know the soul tie is probably difficult to break, but you can do it. Absolutely. Seek help. Go ahead, Jamal. I'm sorry.
No, 8 years. I mean, that's a long time. Yeah, seek help. Yeah. Go ahead, Cam.
Yeah. So the time thing. I think a lot of us put a lot of emphasis on, well, I've been with them for X amount of years, and I've invested this and yada yada and whatnot. No. I mean, if we go back to the buzzwords that were used when we were starting out the show, trust, that's been broken. Healthy. That doesn't sound like a very healthy situation to be in for anyone, really. Character, wisdom, loyal, willingness. I mean, follow through. Is that a loving thing? That's tough. And I'm sorry that happened to you, but sending you love and light and lots of strength and virtual hugs.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, hurtful when someone steps out of the relationship.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry that happened to you. But you know what? You deserve better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. You definitely deserve better. And we'll meet better.
Yeah. Definitely.
Very well said. So I already read that comment.
Yeah.
It says right. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she was
Yes,
just saying that. Uh-huh.
gotcha. All right, so we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, man, we're gonna continue to have these discussions. And this is DBDS Live. Sit tight, don't you go anywhere.
Are you single? Do you know about dbdssingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up today at dbdssingles.com. Let's make love and loyalty dope again.
All right, welcome back, my peoples. I am here with my sister Jenni, my sister Latoya, and my DBDS sister Cameryn, and we've been talking about how being submissive can benefit your relationship. And before we dive into our next topics, let me check out some of my Facebook people I like to give some shout outs to, and those who are watching on YouTube. Shout out to Leah Martin, my sister Takani, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Pierce Kenneth, Tony, Toya, Deanna, my brother Ray. Thank you for tuning in. George, Yvette, Lanique. Shout out to Elizabeth, my brother Lamont, Marciana, my sister Liv, Anthony Wright, Lisa Frost, Brittany Lee. On my personal page, Artist from Bangalore, India, watching the show. Thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate that. If I have not mentioned your name, I greatly appreciate you joining in. So we're going to go ahead and continue this conversation. So the next subtopic that we are going to touch on, which is extremely important, is to be submissive and to have a healthy relationship. It allows your partner to take the lead. So let me go ahead and cue this up right quick. So my thing is, here's the thing, and we talked about this online, but I believe it's vital to allow your partner to be in control. Because sometimes, and let me elaborate this, that a good partner is one who is in control, but he or she is not a controlling person. And I feel like the reality is this goes back to that trust and judgment on their decisions. For example, I spoke offline. I trust my wife on certain areas when she takes our daughter to the doctor and asks questions and give the answers pertaining to her health, and it keeps everything up to par when it comes to our daughter. And we discuss everything. Or she trusts my judgment and allows me to take control when I have to clean out the gutters, or if there's a mechanical issue with the car and it needs to get fixed. She can just sit back, relax, as we talked about, and she has nothing to worry about, right? So understand that it's a two-way street. Submissive, the fluid, it's a two-way street, right? So first, I'm coming to my sister Latoya. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
I was saying goals as you were ending when you were mentioning.
Goals.
Yes, GOALS, being able to sit back and relax. Again, I think when you are submitting to the right person and they are leading, it's you are both parties are able to flourish, right? And Tramel, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a man, but I have heard from men in certain when I've done research, understanding that men want to, I'll say, men of character will, they want to be able to help and take care of and provide for the woman that they are with.
Yes.
And so they will thrive more, and I'll thrive more because I'll be able to sit back and relax. I must have said, I don't know how many times I've said that. Somebody keep
So true though.
But right, we're not, and I'm so big on healthy relationships and connections. And I really believe it will also help the mental health crisis that we have going on. When we are in healthy relationships, keyword healthy, not just any old relationship, because certain relationships will make your mental health worse and not improve it. Yeah. But a healthy relationship, and we know the statistics, what they say about healthy marriages, you're more likely to live longer. Like there's all these benefits. And so again, allowing a person of character, the man, to take the lead will really benefit both parties. And I'm looking forward to that, if y'all can't already tell.
Woo, very well said. Man. Very well said. I mean, this is how I look at it. And I'm just going to use this as an analogy just to give people that visual. But a submissive couple understands that they are both on the same track team. He's on the boys' team and she's on the girls' team, and they wear the same jersey and they attend the same school. And it wouldn't make any sense if a sister get upset that he ran a 400-meter race and he finished in 49 seconds, and she ran the same race and she finished in 55 seconds, because it doesn't bother them because they understand collectively they're on the same team.
Yeah.
And I feel like a submissive couple understands that when they uplift each other and knowing that they represent the same school and the same jersey, emotionally, psychologically, and physically, it will prepare them to win that race over and over again, right? So next, I'm coming to my sister, Jenni. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, I think leading also takes compromising.
Okay.
Compromising with each other, because also, again, both are making decisions and trying to make the right decisions. There also comes a compromising, like you said, you allow your wife, you felt that she's leading you in that place where you're trusting her to take your daughter to the doctors, and she's trusting you to lead in doing something and doing what she feels like, because you're leading in that. And again, I feel like it has to compromise. I think there's also a balance in between that, because you're both coming into a healthy part and doing that, like Latoya said, and you're able to have that peace. And okay, well, and it has to take decisions, the really good decisions to do that. And just like Latoya, I'm looking forward to that too as well, and having that peace. But it also takes a lot of compromising in that, because you have to make those decisions. You have to come together and got to sit down and be like, what's best for each other? What can we do to help each other?
Yeah.
Very well said. Okay. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Very well said. And that's why I had to bring, the same race analogy that I just stated. It shows that you're dependent, but you're independent of each, you're independent, but you're dependent on each other. And I think that's what's missing in today's modern society. So very well said. I'm coming to my sister, Cameryn. What are your thoughts on this particular topic?
When I see, allowing your partner to take the lead, what comes to mind is what you said, Mel, about trusting your wife's judgment, and she trusts your judgment. And then Jenni's talked about compromise. And, Latoya spoke about a willingness, a want, a desire to allow a partner to take the lead, because so that she can relax, take something off her plate. I want to add another word to that: patience. Patience with yourself. And, speaking for me, for myself, I have had to be very patient with myself in asking for help and support from men that I've dated. Yeah, it's real easy. I could probably fix this problem, but it's going to take a lot of effort on my part. But I know that this is their area of expertise. I can reach out to them and say, hey, would you mind helping me? And when I tell you, I got like a soft, eager beaver, like,
They love it.
version of them. It's like, I'm here. Like,
Yep.
I'm still on the phone with you. Like, why are you here already? Like, how are you here? Like, oh my gosh, I hit a sweet spot. But then I hit a sweet spot for myself, So I've had to have patience with myself these past couple of years to allow my partner to take the lead.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's huge for me.
Man. Woo. No, I completely understand that is huge. And, those that's in the dating world today, I'm sure they can relate to that. And this is why it's very important to take your time to get to know someone, and not just dive right in, because when you put that dessert before the entree, trust me, you will have a malnourished relationship. You want to put that entree first before the dessert, which means that you have to know how this person handles things in stressful situations. How do they communicate? How are they respectful towards other people outside of their relationship? I know one just went on a date. They were sharing their dating experience with this brother, and he started yelling at the waitress just because she was just a little bit behind of serving their food, but it was extremely busy, and he started literally bashing the waitress. So I think you should respect everyone, and that was, to me, was a red flag that she noticed. So these are the little things you should definitely pay attention to. And again, telling my people, make sure you put the entree before the dessert. You do not want a malnourished relationship. Right?
Somebody put that in the chat. That's good.
Oh, appreciate that. So I'm going to come to a couple of comments. Appreciate that. This one finally for somebody with a name, Floyd. Okay, go ahead.
Floyd says, I think that for some women that have been independent may find it difficult to submit even when a good man comes into their lives.
Yeah, Floyd, we talked about that earlier. I mean, the sisters can see what I understand that,
Yeah.
Next comment.
I love this conversation. This is a different perspective that I haven't thought of. It makes sense to be submissive to the man. Yeah.
Okay, sister, I'm glad we're enlightening you. We appreciate that. Now we're going to come to some anonymous comments right here. Let's go more right here.
As a woman, I cannot submit to a man who does not make any decisions. I'm not one of those women who say I don't need a man. That's a sign of weakness, whereas it's strength when you have the right man.
Yeah.
Okay, sister, appreciate the thing. Yeah, I mean, being independent, you can only fly so far with one wing. When you have two wings, you're on a whole nother level. Next anonymous comment.
What's wrong with me not settling? I want a man who makes 6 figures because I know he can provide and lead. I have 2 degrees and have a side hustle, and there's nothing wrong with being equally yoked.
Woo, okay. We knew one of these comments was coming. I'll let you start it off, Jenny. Any thoughts on this comment?
I mean, definitely you don't want to settle. Oh man. But also, you want a man that's making 6 figures. and you have 2 degrees. Sometimes a title isn't always what you need. A title, you need someone that's going to love you, that's going to inspire you, that's going to push you, uplift you. Money doesn't buy love. Yes, it can provide and it can give you the things you need, but I prefer someone to really lead me in the right way, because money doesn't always count. Yes, it pays the bills, but you also need that communication, that trust, and the relationship. What's more important?
Very well said.
And it's great that you have 2 degrees and the side hustle. And yes, there's nothing wrong with settling, but sometimes, I prefer the trust and the loyalty and all of that, because, you need to be nurtured. You need someone that's going to be attentive to you. Yeah.
Very well said. And some of those characteristics that you mentioned are priceless compared to what you're stating, my sister. I mean, when you say settling, it's almost as if putting the finances before the character. And hey,
Yes.
listen, there was one of my favorite couples, celebrity wise, is Denzel and Pauletta Washington. When she first met Denzel, this brother was a struggling actor, and she made more money than him. Over time, she knew what kind of man he was because of his characteristics. Now the brother is I don't know how many Oscars or Emmys, but now he's like famous and everything. But the point is that she did not go for him just because of the financial aspect.
Right.
It was the character. It was him trying to, he was being productive in his craft. And I'm sure, just like with my little example, coming from a studio to where I am right now, that woman, based on her supportiveness and nurturing role and being there for him, probably pushed him even higher to the point that he's, so, but appreciate your comment. But I'm going to come to Latoya. Anything you want to add to this sister's comment right here?
There's a lot I want to say, but I want to encourage. First, I'll say I think it's I don't think that you should settle, and I don't think there's anything with wanting financial stability and making sure that the person can provide and lead. And here's the thing that we have to be careful of. So I will briefly share. I used to more look at status and money over a man's character. And so dating and being in a relationship with men who earned 6 figures or more, but their character was not the best, did not keep me. And it's just, and I want you to consider, if you've ever worked for an employer or specifically in corporate, and the money may be, well, you may be making more than 6 figures, but the environment is toxic and they don't treat you well, or you don't feel appreciated.
Good analogy.
And that is why a lot of Black women are leaving corporate and starting their own businesses. And I don't know if that's ever been your experience, but it's just like with a man. He can have all this money, but if he doesn't treat you well, he doesn't have good character, it's not going to keep you. You're not going to be happy. Now, unless you are the type of person who doesn't necessarily care about how you're treated, if you're more, if you're okay with settling in some areas at the sacrifice of being financially stable, then that's a different conversation. But so I challenge you to think about that. And I also think you can find both, but when you lead with wanting the 6 figures or higher, you are more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I got a little itchy trigger. Continue when you leave with this.
Okay, I was just going to say, last thing, if you lead with, desiring someone more about status and how much they're making, I do think you're more likely to find out that person doesn't have good character, because you're focusing more on the money and not the character. Focus on the character first, and then you can find out about the financial situation.
Very well said. Thank you, Latoya. That's why I'm a huge advocate for character first. I always state that in every relationship, because here's the thing: if the man has excellent character, he will be financially stable, because he's gonna have the courage and confidence to make sure that applies. He's gonna find a purpose. He's gonna lead himself. He's gonna make sure. Now, the six figures portion, that's what's throwing me off a little, because as a man, you mentioned you have 2 degrees. Most men don't care about how many degrees you have or your side hustle. We just care if you're going to be a woman of peace, loyal, if you're dedicated, respectful. That's priceless to us compared to, your degrees. And congratulations on that. But I really want to challenge your thoughts on that. All right. Cameryn, anything you want to add to this sister's comment?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations on your 2 degrees in the side hustle. That's admirable.
Yeah.
But I think this is an example of how submission has gotten a bad rep.
Okay.
Because submission doesn't equal settling, and especially not in this context. And like, Mel and Latoya and Jenni have said, the way we're talking about submission, it's to that of someone with character, who is trustworthy, who is loyal, who is consistent, who has wisdom. Nowhere in that did we say they earn 6 figures. That's
Right.
on a totally different scale. That has to do with the material side of things.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that money can go away just like this.
Come and goes.
But who is that man after the money is gone? Can he come back to that level? And if he can, how quickly can he? And is he, what is it, Tasmanian devil in the process, or is he peaceful about it? Is he confident? So that's my 2 cents on that one.
Man, whew, I'm telling you. Very well said, my sister. And a lot of people just want the finished project. They don't want to, I feel like, want to invest in their partner to grow with, especially if they have potential or working towards their goal and showing ambitious and it being productive. They just want the finished project. I think it's even more amazing when you have someone that is, of course, financially stable. I'm not talking about someone that's just letting time pass by and they're not doing nothing with their life, but someone that is executing and doing things, and you're executing and doing things, and you guys are building together. Instead of just having this whole finished project right there. And when you put preferences over standards, yeah, the guy can make 6 figures, but he may be disrespectful. He may be like the brother in, what's that Tyler Perry movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. He may be one of those brothers, one of those cats. So you have to be very careful of what is it that you're vetting in order to get the relationship you truly desire. Okay. All right. So listen, I am going to ask the panel. We have one more topic. We're going to go ahead and pivot to the next topic right now. I know there's other comments that I want to get in, but we're running short on time. So the next, there we go. We got off the screen. Perfect. All right. So the next subtopic that we're going to hit on and pivot to is, so submissive, being submissive, how it can benefit your relationship. It also shows that you're sensitive to your partner's needs. So this is very important. I'm going to go ahead and size this up. My thing is that one of the greatest examples of submission in a committed, healthy relationship is when you are sensitive to your partner's needs. And when you're both on the same level of maturity, of love, then I feel like you both can fulfill your wants and needs to maintain a healthy, balanced relationship. Okay. So first, I'm coming to my sister Latoya, how important it is to be sensitive to your partner's needs.
Yeah. Tramel, just exactly what you were saying. about fulfilling your partner's needs and making sure that in order for your healthy relationship to last, you have to be sensitive to the other person's needs. It goes back to also when Jenni talked about being vulnerable. That
Mm,
that is huge for
mm,
me. And being emotionally available. I talk a lot about that in my content towards single women. Um, Ensuring that we are the person that you're interested in is emotionally available. Because when people, and I'll just use men for example. I know women do this also, but um, when men are emotionally unavailable, I really don't think you can maintain a healthy relationship.
I agree.
I really don't think you can. You have to be able to express your emotions. You have to be able to be vulnerable. You have to have these courageous, difficult conversations. Because if someone's needs are not being met, then that's where things can get again. Things won't, continue to go well. So I think being sensitive, being emotionally available is so key, and it goes back to communicating.
Mm,
It's so key to having a healthy relationship.
mm, very well. Man, Latoya, you took the words out of my mouth because
Oh,
listen, I believe, yes, you did, because I believe communication, compromising, and comprehension are the keys to fulfill your wants and needs within a relationship. And this does require a great deal of transparency.
Mhm.
That's my thoughts on mature love, where you can have an honest discussion and don't have to worry about, I don't know, your significant other getting upset or personally attacking you, because it makes you even more honest. You're like, okay, it's a discussion and you got to have that honest dialogue. So I appreciate that. I'm coming to my sister, Jenni. I mean, how important it is to show that you're sensitive to your partner's needs.
I think when you're sensitive to your partner's needs, it brings more good in the relationship between each other. It brings more
Okay.
intimacy as well,
Mm,
because you can connect more with each other, just not emotionally, but mentally, you
mm,
know, and maybe spiritually. You can
Mhm.
connect more
mm,
deeply because you're you're being fulfilled, with your feelings. You're both connecting with one another, and I think that's important to me because I'm
mm,
definitely the type of woman where I want to connect with somebody emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and I want somebody to be sensitive to all three of those as well.
mm.
Yeah.
Oof, okay. Very well said. Very well said. And now I'm coming to my sister, Cameryn. Anything you want to add to this discussion right here?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Latoya and Jenni about the emotional availability, vulnerability, transparency. Speaking from experience, also creating that space and for that to take place. And that's not always a comfortable thing to do
Mm,
because it's almost an instinctive thing that takes place. But, I will say that I have been fortunate to be in companionship with some really great men
mm,
these past couple of years where I've felt safe enough to practice
mm,
being emotionally available. And I can say that I
mm.
have not always been that way, but it was because I was very guarded because I had been hurt in the past.
Okay.
So, I basically used my past to determine what my future was going to look like. But then I was like, I'm running into the same thing, just
Mm,
different men. So I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I'm the common denominator. I need to do something different here. And, I was transparent. I was vulnerable. I was like, I feel like X, Y, and Z when this happens. This is what I need. So I had to start asking for what I needed. And maybe in my 30s, in my 20s, I would have felt some kind of way. Oh, he should know how to treat me. He should know what I need. No, no, absolutely not. He's only going to meet you where he can meet you, like from his perspective, and you are not him. So you've got to ask for what you need. And if he can't deliver, guess what? That's not your man.
Ooh, man.
Or
Now,
your,
one thing.
or your woman.
Oh,
Men, we want you to ask for what you need too.
Yes.
Use your words.
I mean, I hear that on a daily basis. I mean, with some of my clients still state like he should know what I need. I hear that a lot of times. So I would like for you sisters to dive in a little bit deeper on how important it is to communicate and state what's on your mind. So I'll come to Latoya. What advice you have for some of these women, for some of the women out there that will state like, well, we've been together for 5 years. He should know what I need. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, and I don't want to how do I say this? Ladies, compared to us, men tend to be more practical, more simple.
We are. I'm agreeing. No, it's true. Go ahead.
And compared to us, where we tend to be more complex, you need to communicate and tell him exactly what you're looking for. And I know sometimes maybe it's you don't understand, or you don't know the right approach to take, or you don't know how to necessarily communicate it without it coming off, if you're nagging or complaining or whatever the case is. But I always say using a gentle approach, being mindful of the time. I can't remember. I think Carl says like the 3 T's. It's like time, tone, and something else.
And context.
Yes, there we go. And that is really important. But yeah, you have to communicate. You have to share what exactly you want. And I don't know. I think going back to what you said, Tramel, I'm trying to think about things that I hear from my clients. Why is it difficult to communicate? What exactly? I like to communicate. I like to be transparent. I just say, because I know I am complex, and let me just put it out on the table what I'm looking for, so there is no confusion. And again, I think we as ladies end up winning when we're able to express what we want.
Okay.
Because men want to be able to make us happy and provide and do all these things.
We want to impress you. Yeah. Go ahead. No, very well said. I mean, very well said. Jenni, anything you want to add when, some sisters and even some men I know, they'd be like, hey, we've been together for this amount of time. They should know. I don't have to state it out there. I mean, do you feel that they should verbally communicate?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's very important. Communication is key. And it's also being able to come to them and trusting them to be able to be like, I'm trusting you with this, and this is what I'm trying to communicate with you, and this is how I'm feeling, but also I also think it also takes the right man to sit down with you and listen to you and able to want to communicate with you, and to be able to be like, I'm listening. Okay, what is upsetting you? Tell me. And sometimes, I could be like that, where sometimes where I could be a little guarded and I really want to say something, but I want to say it without, making the other person upset, or like you said, Latoya, without nagging, So, and again, it takes the right man to be like, you know what, I'm going to sit her down and we're going to talk this out and we're going to communicate. And that willingness where he's like, well, I want you to trust in me to be able to communicate with me.
Very well said. I know it's been times in the past that April will come home and she'll be upset due to some mishaps at her job, and instead of going to fix it mode as a man, I just sit down and listen
Mm-hmm.
and I take it in, and she loves that.
More
You know what I'm
men
saying?
love that.
She loves
Mm-hmm.
that. She's like, wow,
Mm.
and I don't give her advice on how to get rid of it or anything like that. My 2 ears are open and I'm actively listening and paraphrasing and understanding where she's coming from. So very well said. We're gonna pull up some comments, Cameryn, because I know we're
Okay.
on short time, and I appreciate you sisters for rocking with us, even though we went over the hour. I knew this was gonna happen.
Yes.
So we'll go to Floyd right here.
I think that for many men that have never seen what an example of a man is, will find it difficult for a woman that truly is in her femininity to submit to him.
Okay, brother Floyd, appreciate that. Next comment from you.
I love what Tramel said, that the right woman will multiply what you have, as well will inspire you to become the best version of yourself that you can be, and will protect his heart. Absolutely.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. Next one from my sister.
Listen, my man still has not painted the room for a week. He should know that it upsets me. Why should I tell him when he should know?
I'll have the sisters, when not mind readers, but I'll have Latoya. I'll pull up back the comment. So coming to first, my sister Latoya. Any advice you have for this sister right here?
Again, so one question I have, did you give him a deadline? Like, did you ask him, can he do it by a certain date? So if you didn't put a specific date out there, we can't be upset with him. And I know that because I get it. We should know.
Okay, she said
Wow.
no, but he should know. Okay.
Oh, sister.
Okay.
So when you revisit the comment, when you revisit this with him, I would add that in next time. And again, make sure your tone, try to be gentle.
There you go.
Say in there, like soften it up. Like, I know you had a busy week, and I'm not sure if that's the case, but let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. There's been a lot of things going on. Maybe he forgot. So just gently reminding him, I would really appreciate if you could paint the room by the end of the week. Maybe not do that head movement I did, but yeah, again, trying to, okay, he is a very busy man. I think you know what?
You may have to set up the session, sister, but go ahead, Latoya.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know I'm like getting into last thing that I'll say, even sometimes men appreciate like making a list or putting it on the calendar so he has a visual reminder as well. Just last thing that I want to say.
I appreciate that. No, I was saying that she may need to set up a session with you, Jenni, anything you want to add to the sister? I'll pull up her original comment.
Everything what Latoya said is exactly what I was gonna kind of pinpoint some of the things. It's true, or sit him down and give him the list and be like, hey,
Gotcha.
Can you get this done by the end of the week, or when can you get it done? Because it's important. It needs to be done. And just, don't go to him like demanding it.
Gotcha.
Go in as gentle as you can be and express yourself, like this really bothers me. And even though a man should know, but sometimes we have to remind them. So, and just be patient with that and with him, because he's also a busy man, like you had wrote in the comment.
Okay. Very well said. Anything you want to add to this sister's question, Cameryn?
I'm all about getting more bees with honey. So, baby, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought this paint. I know you're busy. I totally didn't give you like a date that I would like the room painted by, because I got this furniture and this drapery that I'm trying to order, and I really need the paint up. I need to dry so I can see what the lighting looks like in here. You know what? That's my bad. And I know you're busy, but tell you what, would you like for me to look into getting somebody to come in here to paint? I mean, is that going to be within our budget to do?
That's moves. I like that.
I can do that for you. But otherwise, I'll go out and buy the paintbrushes and the drop cloths and everything for you, but I just love the way you paint.
Ooh. Woo. Man.
You have so
Woo.
many options
Wow.
to choose from.
I love the way you paint.
Man.
I love that.
And no man don't want you to. If you say like I'm going to get my own paintbrushes and everything, no man is not going to have you do that. They're going to be like, oh no,
Yes.
I'm going to have her do that. You know.
Oh,
Man. Very well said, Cameron. Very wow, amazing. So listen, we're gonna go ahead and take one last commercial break. We appreciate it. I'm sorry if I didn't get to the other anonymous comments, but we were running short on time. But don't worry, you know, the back end, we'll get to it. But sit tight. When we come back, we are going to have our Jerry Springer moment. So this is DBDS Live. We'll be right back.
So many people are calling for police reform. And so because they're calling for police reform, they may not understand that there are many organizations who are already responding.
And I feel like you have to really get to know people, see if they share the same core values as you before you get involved with them.
I want to ask a question as to how we got to this place right here, where mask wearing, where COVID-19, where public health is all politicized. I really want you all to think about this. How did we get to this particular point?
It's really a nice balance when femininity and masculinity can mix together and just create this awesome, experience.
Ooh, what a phenomenal show. Welcome back to DBDS Live. I'm your host, Mel Money, and I'm here with the lovely Jenni, my sister Latoya, and my DBDS sister Cameryn. And listen, we've been talking about how being submissive can benefit your relationship. And it's been a lot of nuggets. This show definitely will be replayed over the week. It's not only available on YouTube, but also you can catch us on Amazon Music, Podbean, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. So make sure you check it out. And just to pivot back to, if you want to just represent DBDS in style, you see these DBDS t-shirts and the DBDS mugs, you know, make sure you go to our website, dearbrothersdearsisters.com. You can get one of these shirts, even though my brother's rocking a tight one, you know. So we're going to go ahead and pivot to our Jerry Springer moment. And the first one that I'm coming to is my sister Jenni. What are your final thoughts for today's show?
I'm gonna go back into the submission. I think, ladies, if he's a good man and he's a right man and he is showing you consistency and he's being gentle, honest, transparent, you know, allow him to lead you. You know, I know sometimes it's hard for certain women to submit, but if he's treating you well and he has a wonderful character and attentive and he's showing you actions speak louder than the words, like I said, and he's showing you all of that, you know, submit. It takes two to make the relationship, as well as you can lead him and he can submit to you as well.
Very well said. Appreciate that. And thank you so much, my sister, for the nuggets you dropped today. Coming to my sister Latoya, what are your final thoughts for today's show?
Yeah, just recapping everything, I really think, and I'll speak to the ladies, when you submit to the right person, a man of character, it really will improve all the different domains of your life, your mental health, your physical health, your spirituality, your emotional well-being. And I really think, and I really want to emphasize, ladies, that we have to vet well, we have to choose well. That is the key part of it, because I think many times we're not always choosing well. We're not. And I just have to put that out there. We have to take our time with getting to know Men, we cannot rush into things. We have to build a foundation of friendship first. So that is my my final thoughts.
Oh, very well said. Appreciate that. And I'll pull up a quick comment, which I usually don't do towards the end of the show, but then I'll come to Cam with her final thoughts.
This is April. I love this topic. You all need to do a part 2. I love my husband Tramel so much.
All right. Love you too, baby. Appreciate you tuning in. So Cameryn, what are your final thoughts for today's show?
So my final thoughts are for everybody, men and women. Submission, I think we've kind of debunked the myth today. That submission is not a bad thing, especially if you vet correctly. And I want to leave everybody with some buzzwords, the educator in me. Trust equals freedom. Vulnerability equals courage. Healthy intentionality, consistency, character, wisdom, loyalty, willingness, compromise, execution, follow through, and transparency. Oh, and let's not forget love.
Fire. Well, almost felt like I was at an open mic poetry. You know? Damn. Okay. Whoa.
Say it again, Cameryn. I'm gonna put it in the chat so people can see it.
Okay, I'll put it in the private chat.
Woo, man.
Okay.
So very well said. What a phenomenal show. So before I provide you with my final thoughts, I just want to thank this amazing panel for sharing their wisdom. Shout out to my brother Carl, wherever you at. I don't know if you're in Milwaukee. I don't know if you're driving through New Mexico, but wherever you at, brother, just make sure you're safe out there. All right. All right. So my final thoughts is to my sisters, you know, you should submit to a man who uplifts you, inspires you, motivates you, and he honors you. And to my brothers, you should submit to a sister who's loyal, who respects you and supports you, because when you submit to your man or woman in a healthy manner, you are pouring into them or providing them what they need in order to have what you need, which creates an amazing dynamic within your relationship. All right. So once again, I want to thank this amazing panel and much love to the DBDS family.
Yes. Mel, take it away.